This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout on freebets.com. Delighted today to be joined with Billy Nelson. A very, very exciting night last night, full of great fights from top to bottom, especially the two heavyweight fights. Suppose we firstly touch on it. How's everything been now? How have you been? How did you enjoy it last night?
I thought it was an excellent show. Very impressed with Mark Chamberlain. Thought he was excellent.
Yeah,
And Madrimov,
yeah, yeah.
very good,
Very good.
very good fight. Very good fight.
Yeah,
What a fight that would be having Crocker at 154.
definitely. Absolutely, for sure, definitely. Well, I suppose we'll firstly touch on the AJ fight and then Anthony Joshua knocking out Francis Ngannou. I suppose doing what he should do against a novice boxer. But what was your thoughts on the knockout and the fight overall? It lasted.
Well, that's the thing. Let's not forget that Francis is a two-fight novice professional boxer. I think it's widely accepted that Tyson never performed uh, back in October
Yeah,
for whatever reason. We don't know. And I think Ngannou's performance was made to look a bit better, but that's taking nothing away from Anthony Joshua.
yeah,
Some very, very good shots. I mean, it was evident very early that Francis Ngannou's stance was so wide, and
yeah.
you're not going to get away with that against world class fighters. They'll just shoot the shots right in the middle, and that's what happened. His
Oh,
left arm was so far away from his rib,
yeah.
it was scary, and it would just target jabbing the body, jabbing the head and stabbing to the body. He couldn't miss.
I was going to say that there because I saw a few tweets last night from various different people, and it was saying about this is what happens and really what should happen when you have a pro, a sort of elite level pro against a novice. Do you feel like we did see it last night, and it does show like the dangers that could be when you do have guys with a serious skill gap in between, like we saw last night.
Very much so, and the role reversal of either Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua
Mm,
went into the hexagon thing
yeah,
with him doing MMA. They get plastered. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You don't train for something for years and years and years, and somebody just comes along and thinks they can do it in 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever. You can't do it.
Yeah.
It's experience. It's years and years of graft learning your trade.
Another thing there with AJ, I know that the claim is always that Fury didn't take it seriously enough, and obviously that's a completely fair comparison. But it must say be a big statement. Would you say for AJ to knock a guy out like Ngannou inside what 2 rounds, where he took Fury, one of Fury's hardest fights to date. That would you say it's a big statement for AJ to do that when you compare it to the Fury performance?
Very much so. I mean, it was excellent, excellent boxing with Anthony Joshua. Great to see him back near, his best. But we've got to remember, and let's be perfectly honest here, right? It's a two-fight novice.
Yeah,
Wallen very nearly got beat with Sosalowski.
yeah,
Hilarious dived, but in my opinion, took a dive against Wilder and then beat a guy a week previously in a castle in Finland.
yeah.
You know, but
So
wait till he fights Fury, a top guy like Fury. I mean, he got outclassed twice with and there's no shame in getting beat with Usyk. He get beat twice comfortably with Usyk.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm fight Martin Bakole. I'm fight Martin Bakole. Get a
I
real
was gonna
challenge.
I was gonna say like when because a lot of people would claim now that the gap between Fury and AJ is like they're almost level now, with even people be thinking AJ could be a favourite against Fury. Would you sort of refuse them claims, disagree with them claims? I assume.
Listen, I know for a fact, right, and I know this factually, that Tyson Fury was looking magnificent
Yeah,
before he got his cut. Before he
yeah,
got his cut, he was destroying sparring partners and sparring. Uh, he's back, and you can see just by looking at him, his
yeah,
physicality, his physical well being, that he's taking the Usyk fights much more seriously than the Ngannou fight.
yeah,
What happens if Tyson Fury stops Usyk in 3 rounds?
yeah.
Are people going to say, "Oh,
Of
they're
course.
going to have to sit"? You know what I mean? And then, unfortunately, rematch clauses in all these fights, for me, are spoiling
Yeah.
boxing, and it shouldn't be allowed.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
yeah, I was going to say like going on to the rematch clauses there because before we get on to Parker versus Zhang, that obviously has a rematch clause as well. And do you feel like it ends up tying up the division in a sense because we already know that we're going to get two fights at the top before we're even going to see anything?
Of course, it's killing the boxing. It's killing it. I mean, people, even Hrgovic. How long's Hrgovic been? Is he the interim champion? Or is he the mandatory
No, I
challenger?
think he's the mandatory challenger, but he's been IBF number one since October 2021. So yeah,
21.
21. Yeah, yeah,
That in itself is just so wrong. It's so wrong. It's
yeah,
the same, and it's the same for when Dylan Whyte was number one. The length
yeah,
of time that man, he in his prime, he could have and probably would have won the world title.
yeah, yeah,
And I
definitely.
mean, don't get me wrong, he's had a great career, fantastic career. Probably earned a lot of money, fantastic for him. But I'm sure he'd swap a lot of that money for a world title belt
Yeah, for
sitting in his
sure.
house. You know, and it's ruining the sport. Why, if Tyson and Usyk are fighting for unification, why have a rematch? Have the fight, the best man win, move on.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I did want to talk about Parker versus Zhang with yourself. What did you make of that fight? Of a really good display by Joseph Parker. I would say so. I would say so personally. Yeah.
Well, you know, again, we're going back to I know I'm
Yeah.
reverting
I
back to
was
my
going to
box.
go into that.
Both of them would get destroyed by Martin Bakole in their performances last night.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Both of them had been stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Honestly,
I was going to go on to that sort of like before getting on to how Bakole would fit into the picture. So, what did you make of the fight between the two when it came to Zhang with early success, but Parker then?
do you think it was an exciting fight?
I thought Parker done what he needed to do to get the win. He came through the early adversity. I wasn't surprised the fight went the way it went.
No, no, man. Everybody knows Zhang's not got a tank. You know,
Yeah,
he desperately needed rounds 11 and 12, and he barely threw a punch.
yeah.
Speaks volumes,
Didn't,
doesn't it?
didn't throw a punch in round 12, or didn't land
I
a
think
punch
he,
at
I think
least.
he threw, I think he threw three punches that
Yeah.
never landed.
But for yourself as a trainer, I'd ask the question with what is it about Zhang where is it a fundamental issue where he just hasn't got this tank? Because we've seen it in the Jerry Forrest fight, the Hrgovic fight, and now where it goes to the back end of the fight, he looks sort of like he's absolutely. We haven't seen him ever look good in the back of the back end of a fight. Is this down to conditioning? Is it just a genetic thing, or like what is the reason for it? You think?
He's 40-year-old.
Mhm.
He's 21 stone.
Yeah, that's it.
21 stone men don't have good gas tanks.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And that was the only concern that I had against Takam with Martin Bakole
mm,
because he.
yeah,
But we knew it was an injury he was carrying. You know, but that was the only reason he was hit as heavy as what he was.
yeah, yeah,
But
for sure.
you shouldn't be 21 stone as a professional boxer.
Yeah, definitely.
No, a top fighter anyway.
Mhm. Well, I suppose we'll get onto Bakole now. When you do see the heavyweight movement like he did yesterday, you see an AJ knockout, and you do see the Parker who holds now holds a WBO interim. Um, Obviously, I know you're in a good position in the WBA, but would you? I suppose you did definitely entertain a fight with Joseph Parker, and you'd be confident in that.
We'd fight Joe Parker tomorrow.
Hmm.
Joe Parker will not fight Martin Bakole.
Yeah,
Joe Parker won't fight Martin Bakole. He's told me that himself.
yeah. Can't disagree with that then. I suppose. As I said,
But you know, I mean, if somebody offered Joe and Martin enough money,
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
that would sway it. But he's got to fight Zhang again. Unfortunately,
yeah.
again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another
Is
rematch
that the
clause.
frustrating thing? Because it's like that seems like a pointless rematch to a lot of people.
Well, aye, very much so.
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't want to watch that again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't
Well,
want to
and
watch that again. Better be honest.
definitely. I suppose whilst I've got you a name you mentioned there, Dillian Whyte. He's obviously had his return. He's having his return next weekend. Being cleared. And I know there's still a few question marks around it, but We know that Martin and Dillian, especially in Poland, they had like quite a fiery back and forth. Do you think that now Dillian Whyte is back, that definitely be a fight that you would be willing to entertain?
Martin would fight Dylan Whyte anytime. Made it clear to him that he'd fight him anytime in Poland.
Yeah, yeah,
And, Martin done an interview the following morning saying that he'd fight Dylan Whyte. Dylan Whyte's no problem whatsoever to Martin
yeah,
Bakole. No problem
yeah,
whatsoever. Put him in the ring, pair of gloves on, he'll stop him. He'll batter him.
yeah, definitely, for sure. And whilst I do have you, I did want to ask you about a couple other topics. You mentioned there about Israil Madrimov, Lewis Crocker. I suppose that'd be a fight that you'd be interested in.
Mate, that would be a great fight. That would be a fight, wouldn't it? I mean, that would
Yeah,
be some fight.
definitely.
That
Yeah,
would.
for sure.
He's very, very good, that guy. Very good. I liked him as an amateur as well. Very good fighter. So was his opponent, by the way. His opponent
Yeah,
is
Kurbanov. Yeah,
a good fighter, and he dealt with him in a very, very good fashion.
yeah. What,
And
what
and
else?
and can I also say,
Yeah.
on last great show as it was last night,
hmm
how bad a result was that for Nick
I was
Ball?
going to say, like, what did you think? How did you have that personally scored? Because I did think it was close. I personally thought it was close.
I had him winning by 3 points.
Yeah. That's, I was going to say, like, I suppose, especially when you have the two knockdowns as well, it probably would widen it a little bit as well.
Well, the only negative thing I could have said about Nick's performance yesterday was he never went to the body enough. He
hmm
was headhunting a lot, coming over the top
Yeah.
of the punches, especially when he was in the ropes. He was up my gym maybe 2 months ago, and he's got a fantastic style for his height. He's developed a style that's fantastic,
Yeah.
and I would have liked to see him go to the body a wee bit more yesterday. And I think he might have got him out there last night.
Yeah. Do you think it could be one of these cases where I think the main argument is that if he started a little bit quicker, I think a lot of people gave Ray Vargas quite heavy in the first half of the fight. Probably would have ended up getting the nod if he started a little bit quicker.
No, no, he won the fight. He won the
hmm
fight, so he never done anything wrong. It doesn't matter. He won the fight in my eyes, and
Yeah,
most people's eyes. He won the fight, so he never done much wrong. I mean, the other guy's an experienced campaigner. Nick was probably having a wee look at him probably the first couple of rounds, and after round five, I couldn't have gave the Mexican much after round five.
yeah,
But
definitely.
there was a very, very long time between the final bell and the
Yeah,
announcements, and you knew there was just I
yeah.
smelt of that straight away. It was
I
horrible, terrible.
yeah, I had a feeling of that when I saw Ball's reaction. I saw Frank and everyone. I was like, I feel like
I've
something's
seen I
probably going
seen
to go
Frank's
wrong here.
face. Frank's face
Yeah,
was thunder. You know, listen, see his trainer Paul Stevenson, excellent coach. Doesn't he get the praise that he deserves? He's a cracking coach. He's got Peter McGrail as well and a
yeah,
couple other fighters. Very, very good coach. And Nick Ball, lovely wee guy. I really do hope he gets a rematch and what becomes that WBC champion.
I was going to say that when you talked about Nick Ball's style, it shows how exciting that he could be. That he does give up a lot of height in terms of opponents, especially last night. He gave up a lot in height, but he's almost like that mini Mike Tyson style in a sense where he is so explosive.
Right?
Yeah,
But it should for such a. I mean, he was 9 inches we on
yeah,
that guy last night. He really should have been going down to the body more and bringing the hands down further, and then
yeah,
going back upstairs. Starting to the body, then finishing maybe a left hook or a right uppercut, left hook. There wasn't a lot of uppercuts. There wasn't enough body work. That's the only thing. But he still won the fight. I mean,
yeah,
I'm just being a wee bit
yeah. Of course, yeah,
overcritical. But
yeah, yeah.
if he could have added that in, I believe he could have stopped him.
For
But he
sure.
won the fight. I mean,
Yeah,
all you had to do was look at the two corners after the
mhm,
fight.
yeah,
But
definitely.
as I said, the longer it took for him to announce the winner, you knew he just smelt of that.
Absolutely. And just a sort of a final couple ones from me. We mentioned Lewis Crocker earlier. What ideally would you want next for him? And another thing I did want to say, obviously, he did miss weight in his last fight. Do
He
you
didn't
think
miss weight. He
oh,
didn't miss weight. He didn't
okay?
miss weight.
Well, I suppose he weren't allowed
Everybody,
to make the weight.
everybody that the people that knew that he was going to be heavy, purely because we only had 4.5 weeks notice for the fight, or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Initially, we were told the fight would be at 154. It got changed very, very late, and I wasn't prepared to let my fighter lose bundles of weight to come down to 147. And even when we were told having a drink and starting off eating his breakfast as most folk do, and then 3 hours after the weigh-in, we were told, oh, the Mexicans have asked for a rehydration. You can only go up 10 pound by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and he was, I think it was half a pound under.
Yeah, Jesus.
So it was half a pound under the 10 pound stipulation. And then the first words that came out the commentator's mouth, oh, the size difference. Well, at 9 o'clock that morning, there was no size difference.
Yeah, yeah. So as it said there, no issues for Crocker to make 147 then in the future.
None whatsoever, and he'll be
Yeah,
making it. Be making it soon.
definitely. I was going to say, like, what would you like next for him? I know he'd obviously be interested in something like a British title. Feel like that could be potentially an option, or bigger honours than that.
I think it'll be bigger honours, and it'll be a top. I think it'll be a top 10 opponent with a belt attached to it.
Definitely. And just a final one from me. We did see Sultan Zaurbeck with a great performance the other night. Obviously now signed a promotional deal with Wasserman as well. Excited for the future with Sultan.
Sultan is an exceptionally good fighter. I mean, he's got everything: skill, speed, power. Just a fantastic fighter. I would like, me personally, a wee 10 rounder, because he had a hand injury going into that fight. I'd like him to get a 10 rounder against a good sturdy opponent in June, and then somebody like the winner or loser of Zelfa Barrett and
Yeah,
Jordan Gill, and then
yeah,
possibly for an eliminator, or fight the winner or loser Barrett and Gill, and then an eliminator, because
yeah.
he can't be far away from a world title fight. He's number 5 anyway.
Hmm. Yeah,
But I don't think there's anybody in Britain that will beat him at super featherweight.
yeah, for sure, mate. Definitely an exciting talent. Billy, just want to say thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really, really appreciate catching up with you on this Saturday morning. And yeah, I appreciate you always getting your opinion, mate. But it means a lot, mate. Top man.
All the best, Lou. Take care.
Thank you, mate. Top man. Thank you. Cheers, mate.